don't like all these notifications and stuff. Remove from dock. Keep it nice and simple. I had to learn that when I was a little girl. Remember when I had my own special plate? And I had to have my own chair. I had to have all my own stuff because I didn't have anything of my own. Like we didn't have our own room. So it was like I needed stuff that was my own. It was important. I had a snuffleupagus placemat. I think Jerry's was Kermit the Frog or something. But good boy, Benny. Anyway, I had to learn how to not have to have things perfect, because if something happened to that perfect thing, my life would like dissolve. Like I'd have a meltdown because that thing wasn't just right. So as I got older, what I learned was there is no perfect, and you just got, some things are 98% of 100 of what, out of 95. Some things are 80, some things are 60, some things are 40% out of 100 of how you'd want it to be. That's just where you got to step into your acceptance and be okay with however things are. How I've understood it. Come on, Benny, go lay down. Come on, go lay down. Go lay down. Good boy. Good boy over here. Good boy. Come up here. Good dog. Good boy. Thank you, bud. Look at Tucker. He's in his morning spot. It just cracks me up, man. They're just so content. Good boy, Tuck. Said, don't bother me, Mom. Don't disconnect the wireless to this time today, okay? That's what happened last night, I found, is I talked for like an hour. It's like 57 minutes, and I went to hit stop, and behind the window where I hit end stream, it said that you're currently offline. So I think 15 minutes in is where the talk ended. So there's like 45 minutes. I don't know what I say. I just blah, 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 talk about how I feel about things. Hi, my name's Marge. I'm a Hailk empath, and that's what I do here. And so I thought I'd do a continuance of my, because I don't know what points got out there as far as what the title is called. I get why people hate me, I'm all I'm a contrarian. I interject lines of thinking that people don't want to hear, just so that they know that there's different ways to think. I believe in an all things possible multi-universe. I don't think this is the only universe that exists. I think that there's an incomprehensible amount of universes that exist based on the perception of the individual that holds the space. I believe in a lot of things that other people, they just don't think about because they're too busy thinking about themselves. I don't like thinking about myself so much. I start thinking about myself, I get my feelings hurt. What do you want? Why are you doing this? Go lie down. You're not going out. Good boy, thank you. Good dog, thank you. Good dog. So, things are kind of weird. I guess the moon's in Aquarius today. So people are going to be extra eccentric and out there and stuff. Extra? Extra? Wow, I don't know how much of this extra people are going to be able to handle. Psychology. Yet there's still that storyline of the people that are hanging on to the old world. Where you work Monday through Friday. Not so many people are going to work. And I used to hear that because I was in IT, so I don't know. I was always in earshot of stuff and just listening to, if I had $1 for every time somebody on Wednesday said, you got big plans for, it's like people are so programmed, they're so scripted that like their thoughts aren't even originally of their own. It's a trip, man. It's like they're plastic. It's like they're little chess pieces, and they're playing this little game called life. I was conflicted when I was a little girl. I always wanted to, like, when you pass the marriage where you get married, I was like, I want a pink piece as my spouse, but girls can't have pink pieces as spouses because it's all weird. This was in the 70s and 80s, and now look at stuff, man. That's why I'm like, just let people do whatever they want, because whoever's in charge, it's going to change, and it's going to end up, you know. I mean, when I grew up, it was like, no, you can't be gay, God hates gays, all that. And there's always been that thread woven in it. But now with all this stuff that they're clumping up the alphabet soup, like, I'm not into none of that stuff. I'm into freaking, it matters what you do with what you got to determine the kind of person you are more than who you're boning with. It's stupid. That's why I made up my shirt that says straight people like rainbows too. They're going to get shipped today. I'm kind of excited. Hopefully they'll get shipped today, so maybe they'll be here by Monday. I don't know. I'm super excited. So, and isn't that when, or is it June? When, I gotta look it up. I gotta look that up. May 14th. May 14th. So it is May 14th. I had 14 in my head, and I was like, is it go direct May 14th or June 14th? It goes direct May 14th, and that might be the day I get my t-shirt. So that's kind of a cool thing. So I hate that verbal pause. I rather do then I used to have to sit in meetings all the time where people talked about themselves and their experience, strength, and hope. And some people were just heavy ummers. And they start talking, and you could tell instantly, oh God, they're an ummer. They're an ummer. They're an ummer. And then I wouldn't even listen to their talk. Before I know it, I'd start counting the ums. Like the buyer. The people that go, buy. Oh, they're an buyer. All these little things I pick up about. And then it's like, I meet other people, it's like, I've known a handful of buyers in my life, and then I come across a buyer, I'm like, I think about the buyers, and they're like them. They're like the same frequency. What do you want? What do you want? You're driving me crazy, dude. You're driving me crazy. What, you want a drink? Get a drink. You want to go sit by your grandma? Go sit by your grandma. Just get there. Just get there. Just figure it out. I'm like that. I'm like that from my dad. Like, I don't care what people have to do to get comfortable in life. Just get there. Just do the thing that you need to do to make yourself uncomfortable so you can be comfortable, so things can be comfortable around you, because I can't freaking stand when things are uncomfortable. It's my trauma response. I'm very self-aware. Very self-aware. Are you done yet? Because you're starting to annoy me now. And you know it. So, things I wanted to talk about. I called yesterday's talk, Hard Not to Hate Me. So I'm calling today's talk, Hard Not to Hate Me Continued. I just unplugged the fan and plugged it back in so fast that the juice in the circuit didn't break, so I didn't have to hit the button on the fan back on. Go lie down. Go lie down. Good dog. Thank you. Thank you. And whenever I get harsh, I gotta say something nice. Say something nice. you know? I used to wait for people that always criticize me. They just tell me like all this, this stuff about me. They're really telling me about themselves, but tell me about all the stuff about all the ways that I am and how selfish I am and and all that they're telling me all about them by waving their finger at me, right? Can people trip me out? So I'm easy to convince otherwise. I mean, I talk like they're opening in Albuquerque a Chick-fil-A or some bullshit like fast food restaurant, you know? I'm like, that's all New Mexico needs is a new vein where you can go and get fat people food, where you can live your unhealthy lifestyle and eat your feelings. It's ridiculous. And now I say things like this, and then people hear fat shaming. You're mean. You're a negative, low vibrational being. And I'm like, dude, everything is in the eye of a beholder. Fat is in the eye of a beholder. You know, I've seen a lot of really big people, like, that would, like, you would think that they would be in as far as eye of a doctor or a medical physician, they would be recognized as grossly obese. They still aren't fat. They still aren't. They might be recognized as that. Other people might identify them as that, but they don't identify themselves like that. And people are very active. You know, they're just, some people are just they're just bigger. And I've always been one of those people. Because I'm not a tall person, I'm just stocky. I have a lot of muscle mass. And muscle weighs more than fat. So when I was a little girl, I'd go out and ride my little autistic girl like a little rat in a hamster cage on the little wheel, just going and going like a little Energizer bunny with all the, oh, let's go look at this and let's go look at that. And just go, 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 go. And so I go around. I fucking hate that shit. And then, so I'm on my bike all the time, and then, you know, I'm 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, and I go into the doctor, and they weigh me, and I'm freaking solid as a rock, and I'm 100 pounds, and then they're like, she needs to go on a diet. How much did that happen? Because they said she weighs too much, but they never... Doctors aren't as smart as they say. Doctors aren't as smart as they pay them, that other people pay them to think that they say that they are. I've had to deal with a lot of doctors, and they know, see, people that are specialized in things, they know that one thing. But how well do they know other things? Like, you know, you got cardiologists, heart doctor. I was going to be an EKG technician at one time. They know the heart. They know everything about the heart. They know it's just the heart, right? But they themselves, I met cardiologists that are very disconnected from their very own heart-centered living. Because when people live that much in ego, and you got to have all that stuff to show people how important you are, there ain't no heart in that. Heart is where the spirit derives. That ain't a heart-based way of living. That's an egocentric based way of living. Ego, easing God out. God, good orderly direction. Is me buying this Ferrari good for everybody in my community? Right? No, it's just good for you. Okay, that's a no-brainer. That's my ego. It's not what God intended. For people to drive around these big old expensive cars, live in these big old mansions, while there's so many people freaking that just don't, all they did were be born on this earth. And then there's there's so many people going through freaking pain and strife and struggles, and all they did was be born. That's it. Nobody that was ever born, you know, they always say, you asked for this our incarnation. I don't think I asked for this incarnation. I think I was drafted. They said, Marge, go to the planet this time. We're going to give you a shit life. But we're also going to give you a really good sense of humor and your mom's killer smile. and some decent hair and some brains and some logic and some empathy, and we're gonna make your recipe of all these things. And then so whenever you go out in the world and you contain all of these things, of all of these characteristics, and when people see you and they see you with these characteristics and they don't recognize them, people hate the things that they don't recognize. They fear things they don't recognize. They hate, they get mad. They're not going to be able to recognize that thing, and they're going to hate you, Marge. Or they're going to see all those things in you that they don't like about themselves. Not that they don't see that they're missing, that they can't, but they spot what they got, you know. So I've always identified with things that like the minority in the group. I've never gone with the majority, ever. And there's never been a time that there's been like, you know, I remember people think that we're in trouble with, like, you know, the dumbing down of society. I knew we were in trouble back in 2006, 2007, and the people of America consciously said, I'm going to take my money. However hard I work for that money, and I'm going to go to this place and I'm going to buy this ticket for this movie called Jackass 2. And so many Americans did that they made the movie Jackass 2 the #1 movie in the nation. Not one weekend, but 2 weekends in a row. And now look at like, those are stellar human beings that people should be looking up to. Those are the good examples in life. Look at Bam, dude. That dude's freaking, that guy, all because people just go around, do whatever they want, consume whatever they want, take on what spirits, unbeknownst to them, they don't care because that shit's woo-woo and it's not real. It's so funny. Oh boy, I was like, there's always something going on where I live. I go out, let the dogs, and the neighbor was getting ready to take, she's always running around. They got 3 kids, it's just go, you know, and so I go out and I'm taking the dog, Luna, out, and she comes over and she said, hey, did you see that? I said, no, I saw that there was something I saw the fence look different but I didn't see they got a pit bull. They got a new dog. She's in there, she's really, really and evidently someone that they know got the dog a few months ago and decided that they didn't want the dog anymore. This happens all the time. It happens every day. It is just so common, yet people live in a bubble, so they don't ever think about this, yet this is the world of which is going on around us. So the people didn't want the dog, so what they were gonna do is take the dog up in the mountains and leave the fucking dog. People do it all the time. They do it to people. They abandon people. That's what old folks' homes are. Just go dump the old person off and it's somebody else's problem. That is your fucking parent. You know, honor thy mother and father. And my father and mother weren't even that fucking rad to me when I was a little girl. But you know what? It doesn't have shit to do with them. It has all to do with me. And how I treat people and things. So that was cool. I was like, you know, I really appreciate the fact that you communicating me, you know, what's going on, because we all live here, right? Because you got the other scumbag up front who freaking, I was like, I come out this morning and there's somebody sitting on the bench in the front yard, and this is somebody I didn't recognize, right? Guy, I didn't, you know, he's just sitting there and he's waiting. It's like 8:30 in the morning, 8:20, you know. Because I try not to pay attention to what's going on in front. I try not to. I'm hyper vigilant. I can't help it. So and then so I thought it was the kid that lived there, and then I was like, no, that's somebody else. And then he goes over and he's like leaning against the car, and he's out. And then I go on about my day, and I was like, okay. And then Mom gets up. I get Mom up and around. She gets her snacks, and we get her clothes changed and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what, Ma? Because I see things like this, and then I deduce the scenario, right? And I'm like, this is likely what happened. And I wouldn't be above going out and being like, you know, asking him to verify what I believe to be true just to see if it's true or not. Just out of curiosity, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and if I'm right, that's another one for the Yay Me team. So, what I surmise is, you go out, it's Tuesday, they don't work, nobody works in New Mexico. They freaking party all night, drink all night, sleep all day, get up around 4 or 5 o'clock and do it again. That's how they do it here. It's not, there aren't a lot. I'm not saying there are any. I'm looking for them. I'm gonna keep trying to find the overachievers. I'm gonna keep trying to find the heart-based liver. But every time I go out, I think I find people, and then they're like, and then I'm like, you're all about money. And whenever anybody is all about money, we're not the same vibe. As far as I'm concerned, I live my life as if money doesn't exist. Okay? I have to do things to satisfy other people. Like, I gotta write a check every first of the month for $1,200 to live here to make somebody else happy so that I can live here and then do all the things that go with that, right? Whatever social agreements that go with that, right? Other people don't have social agreements. They just go around, do whatever they want. Self-will run riot, and that's what the world is coming down to. People are not disciplined. And people have treated people so badly for so long that they don't even know how to act different. Everybody on this planet can do a 180 and act different than they've been doing if they don't like the way they've been acting. Just stop doing the same behaviors that you've always done. And then you're going to get different results because your behaviors are different. You keep doing the same thing, the same outcome. You keep dating the same personality, the outcomes are the same. You keep doing the same behaviors yourself, you're going to get the same results. It's a sickness. I've been all this person. This is just all stuff I've sorted out and reasoned out, and it doesn't serve me to live this way. It doesn't, the benefits are more positive if I'm not a selfish bastard. And yes, I am a bastard. I found that out a couple years ago. My parents weren't married when I was married, and the funny thing is they told me my whole life that they were. How weird is that? Secrets, everybody's got them. So I get why people don't like me. I mean, I talk about, and I promote physical fitness, go out and be the captain of your own ship. You're a grown ass man and you a grown ass woman. Well, get your grown ass guts and your grown ass up and out there and show the kids how important it is to stay physically fit. Be the good example with your grown-ass selves. But you sit there at a grown-ass table or behind a grown-ass desk and you're freaking consumed because you're a grown-ass glutton. I get why people hate me. Because I do the work. And they don't. So go ahead and hate me. I can take the scrutiny. I've been taking the scrutiny my whole life. I was the one that the parents would tell me they've been telling me I was selfish my whole life because they're selfish people. Unlike my birthday. Like, what do you think it's always about? I remember I was 7 years old when I went, I said, Mom, I don't know what to call Greg. I don't know, not like when I call him Dad, it doesn't feel right when I call him like Pop. I'm one of those when you go to the card section for your parents, you don't want to get something too personal because you don't want to give them more credit than they deserve. You just want to acknowledge them kind of thing, right? So she said that I needed to address that I needed to stand up and that I needed to share with him how I felt. So the next time he went and picked us up, we had to meet at Denny's to do the custody exchange. I said, Dad, do you think on this trip that you and me could just hang out, just you and me? And the dude fucking erupted on me, said, what the he said, Margie, how selfish. What do you want me to do? What do you expect me to do? Margie, would it make you happy if I ignored everybody else that was around just to hang out with you? Would that make you happy? I was a 7-year-old little girl. Yes, that would have made me happy. But you know what? I'm still happy. Because I don't hang on to that stuff. I acknowledge it, I bless it, I release it. And you know what? He's 75 years old and he's had a lot of years that he's missed out on a daughter, and I'm the only one he's got left. I can't make people act the way that I said that all wrong. I used to be able to, I used to care. I could be the person that I knew the person I was dealing with wanted me to be. I could be everything I could be their best friend, you know. I would do because I'm a server. Because I was so neglected. All I want to do is please people. That is how I've been. I've gone to the extremes. I've overcompensated, where I've cut myself off. No, I'm not doing nothing for nobody. I've now come back into a place of balance where I recognize the ebb and flow, the importance of doing both, you know? I want to give an example of, like, you know, it's like, I've talked a lot of shit about, like people that do loops that don't do anything really productive, like snowboarders and skiers and stuff like that, you know, with just based on my perception and people that I've known. Now I know there's a whole world out there made up of all kinds of people, and that not everybody is like the few that I've seen, you know, been around with. That the world is made up of all kinds of groups, and the groups are made up with all kinds of people, and there's good people and sucky people in every group, right? And if people get the impression that I am so limited in scope, you know, I live so people can change my mind, you know, like I won't talk trash about skiers and snowboarders anymore, because since then I've met people that like to ski and snowboard, you know? And they're good people. So I am teachable. I live to learn. I'm looking for other people that are like me. I have been my whole life. My brother makes fun of me. He said, you've been looking for your people your whole life. You know, you've always lived from your heart, you know? And I don't know of any other place to live from, any other source of energy, of power. My heart is my power source. It's what drives me. It's what directs me and guides me. It's my direct connection to source, to God in heaven. You know? I get why the kid next door hates me. I'm a 49-year-old woman. You know, I got more cool shit than he has. You know, I get along with his mom, he don't. You know, I mean, I get why people hate me. Doesn't bother me. It used to. It used to bother me. It used to be very important that people like me. And now it's just like, I got to consider the source. That's all right. Hate away. Hate away. So some of this stuff, oh, hi, Andrew. That's cool. I remember you. I'm glad you said hello, Andrew. That's all right. That's all right. That's okay. It was just an accident. No problem. No problem. If I could unhide it, I would unhide it. But here, I'll just add him as a moderator. I've done that before. I've freaking blocked people and stuff like that on accident. Yeah, it's a twisted, man. People, um, that's what we were talking about. She's like, we were like, we don't understand why people. It's because people are stuck in a loop. It's like they want the thing. It's in the rescue world. Hi, baby girl. In the rescue world, like Valentine's Day, Christmas, it's like you start seeing all this stuff. Don't get a freaking new pet on these, because then it's like, oh yeah, we love this thing, but then it grows up, and not everybody should have pets, dude. Not everybody should have fucking children. I think about all the people that just like chasing sensations, and then you got the greatest responsibility on the planet is taking care of another human being, and you can't even take care of yourself. So, oh, I was telling the story about the loop, is I notice other people's loops. And so the guy was sitting out front, and what I deduced is they went out partying, and he ran into this guy, and they wanted to go do some drugs or booze or whatever, and hey, yeah, man, let's hang out. And oh boy, he's always hangs out with different people, because ain't nobody can know who he really is, because he's such a scumbag, right? So he's got to spread it all out. And so old boy, dude comes home with them. They party it on, and like they pass out, and oh yeah, I'll get you home tomorrow, wherever you got. We'll get up early. I'll take you wherever because I've been that guy before. I've been him. I've been out there waiting for him to fucking finish sleeping it off so he can give me a ride home, because I'm freaking 5 miles from any place, and I thank you, God, for delivering me from that place, It's weird. I never had like two. I never been one. I was like, why does somebody need two vehicles? Well, sometimes mom's more comfortable in the minivan, so we'll take that. Like, and I took Luna to the vet yesterday in the minivan. She was more comfortable in the minivan than me picking her up in the Suburban that's freaking yay off the ground. So. I am a very teachable person, and I live to learn, and I think if people were to stick around my channel long enough, that they would see that and I'm frequently saying where I'm wrong here. I'm wrong all the time. I don't understand how people can go through living on this planet just never admitting when they're wrong. It's like you never make mistakes. People that are never make mistakes, aren't they due for really big ones at like any minute? Yeah. So, I listened to the Leo Cub this morning. Everybody has a piece to the puzzle. Some people have smaller pieces than others. Cubs can never be kings. And I noticed that guy. See, ain't nobody ever talked to me. I'm nobody, right? I'm a Heyoka. I fly in the ethers of obscurity, right? Nobody gives a crap about what I have to say, my opinion, my life experience. It doesn't matter. But you get a couple of guys that have been doing astrology, right? And then you hear him talk about spirituality. Now this is what I hear. Okay, I hear him talking about all this spirituality, and I think about how they're in Los Angeles. They're surrounded by homeless people. Like, there's people that are just distraught, in need. They just, just God, if somebody could just hear my story, just that would be wonderful, right? There's all these people who just want to be heard, totally, it's like they're just waiting to die because nobody gives a shit anymore, right? All these people everywhere, just all these economic backgrounds, doesn't matter, color of skin, all that doesn't matter. It's just all so, right? But this dude, oh boy's in his studio, talks about like his all of his like toys and shit. how he just bought a big old house, and you know how he's having a baby and all this stuff. And all I'm thinking is like, my frame of reference that you can't keep stuff unless you give stuff away. Like you can't hang on to security unless you're secure enough in yourself and teach others how to be secure in themselves, right? And money ain't gonna do it, right? Right? And I'm listening to this guy, and all these people just love this Cub guy. They just love him. They think he's the greatest guy. And I hear a guy who talks about how, without thinking, he would do things like throw sodas on expensive cars just to be just cuz. He would, fuck other people's property up. He didn't do his 4 years in the Navy, so that tells me he doesn't follow through with shitty stuff. He just only does shit he wants to do, and and I'm like, hey, all right, yeah, that's it, that's the guy, and all these people, and I'm like, don't they hear that this guy is telling people what a scumbag he is? Because he's still that withholder. I mean, you have all that stuff. Oh my God, he's just so transparent. He's so transparent. I could be a millionaire several times over. I would never have all of that stuff. I would never have all that stuff. I have 2 cars that are combined worth $8,500 combined. 2 cars. None of them are electric. I can work on them myself. If they break, I'll be cussing the whole time. I'll be pissed. I'll be grouchy. I won't want to do it. I will do it. Because when I was little, I asked for help a lot. And people that feel shitty about themselves, they don't want to help other people. They want to stay on their little tower of things that they have that they don't have to share. And everybody else can go out and get their own shit. But the reality of it is much different. So, I think it's funny who people are choosing to freaking watch and look at. I think it's fun. I listen to him because I get a collective. And that new guy he brought on, what happened to Brian? Is Brian just doing all of his stuff at home? Is he not going to the studio? Dude fucking goes through people. He goes through people. Not a lot of consistency there. Not a lot. Not to say that there is consistency, but I see the patterns, Put out all this content and then tell people to go over here and pay for it. Put out all this good content that, spirituality, I do spirituality here for the poor. People that can't, people that want to learn about themselves and things like that. And live a different life and not do all the things that got them to the unhappy place that they are. Like how to actually do the foot prayers and do things different. Stop doing the behaviors that got you there. Dude's gonna have a fun. It's so fun. It's gonna be fun. Anyway, I just listen while I'm freaking cleaning up dog shit and stuff like that. That's what I do. I listen to dog YouTube videos while I'm washing the dishes, and I'm like, oh, this is what they think, huh? I listen to a lot of people I would not hang out with because they got their information I find valuable. I don't gotta like people to find people's information valuable. I don't gotta like people to recognize that they're brilliant, smart, creative human beings. People put too much emphasis in liking things. And I think about where I'd be in the world if people just valued what I have to contribute in most every situation, rather than if they like me or not. When has liking been such a fact? When does it fucking matter who it doesn't matter if you like people you work with them and treat them decent. You don't treat them shitty. You got a lot of warped mentalities on this planet, man. Weird stuff. So I don't like identifying with groups. Like, I don't even like, am I really? How much of a lesbian am I? There's one girl for me. I don't even know who she is. I don't even know if I've ever met her. All I know is that I'm a one lobster. So I'm not gonna freaking, go around and be a trash bag, so that when I do meet my lobster, I can tell my lobster that what I've given a lot of orgasms. Is that a badge of honor? I always saw sex as like a means of power and control anyway. It's not like you're in a relationship and you can do it anytime you want. You got, how many times people told me no just cuz then why are you with me? I don't even understand. It's just like a control power thing. I have a headache, all that stuff, And then when they're with other people, they're boning down in Clown Town. But anyway, I hope you're good, Andy. I remember you. Yeah, that's the thing is I like plenty of people. I respect the guy for what he does have to offer. I acknowledge at the same time that. And another thing I try not to do, because I was just really trying not to do that there, is to say but. That drives me crazy. I know to each his own. Everybody had a different English teacher. I wish I knew what English teacher that was that freaking planted that seed in me. But I'm a stickler about that. And I've done it myself too, and I've caught it. And I'm just like, well, it's out there forever. You said it. When you say but, it negates everything before the comma. So you just contradicted yourself. And those two guys in that video, they were all about the butts. All about the, I respect you. I didn't think you'd like me. But, that's like, no, all that was bullshit. Now you're going to get the real version. So, maybe they didn't have the same English teacher I did. I hate English and all that structure stuff. Just let me be me. Without grading me. Trauma. I had test anxiety because that's a lot of people with trauma do, because once you disassociate, and then for me, I'd have to sit down and take a test, and then this test is contingent on what people thought, if I was dumb or smart, and so I get so weighed down by self-centered fear that my mind would go blank. Even if I knew the answers, they would just leave. I would just, because I go to a disassociative place. I never got extra time to take tests. I mean, they said it when I was in junior high, I was autistic. I didn't get all that extra stuff that fucking people get. Hell, I barely graduated high school. So, the lake is full. I'm happy for him. See, with all the good stuff, there comes the crap. There comes, like, the people that, like, and I'm glad I honestly, I'm finally at a point, all right, God, thank you for delivering us from Redding. I get it, okay? I get it. Because, like, Shasta Lake, it's going to be a fucking nightmare, dude. I remember a guy was in the Air Force with, what was that guy's name? He ended up living right next door to the guy that was my brother's first. When he got out, he went back to Redding, and his next door neighbor was my brother's first groomsman or whatever. I was in his second wedding, but in the first one, Sean was. These guys bought me booze for the first time. I've told that story before, but they ended up right now. Anyway, dude's out there, kid in his lap, on a boat, fucking wasted drunk, driving the boat. I was like, and he posted it on social media. And because people don't care. They don't think what I'm doing is wrong. What I'm doing is unlawful. What I'm doing is unsafe. They don't think any of those things. What they think is, I'm going to do what I want to do, and this is what I want to do. Because I'm a grown-ass whatever. And so now a lot of people are going to be run off, cut up, going off a grown-ass cliff, because we're surrounded by so many fucking grown-ass women and men that are freaking about as sharp as a box of marbles. So it'll be interesting to watch. People don't really bother me much, though. I mean, they do shit behind my back. You know, they'll do stuff like, you know, like take my weed plant, you know, fucking hit the back of my minivan. That's what he did that's what I went out to yesterday and saw. There's a new dent in my minivan. And I've driven it twice in the last month, so I know it ain't happened out there. And I know I didn't hit nothing. But people don't care about other people's shit. And that's the thing is like, dude, I got the talk. Go watch the talk on freaking Peace Dealer. Just look up a talk for Heyoka. That is my birth chart reading. You fuck me over, you got hell to pay. It's like a little extra karma when you fuck me over. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes if universe creator is real cool, I'll get to see the karmic retribution. So people hate that. Hate that. Yeah. So I think I'm talking long enough. Did I say all the things I wanted to say yesterday? All the reasons why people hate me. All the things that they aren't, you know? I know I'm a decent person. You know? I know. I may not always do the right thing. I usually come around to it, though. And I don't need... I got my spiritual advisors and people that I run stuff by and things like that. Make sure that I'm not living too far from my ego and I'm not easing God out too much. You know, there's people in life that freaking, they can't do anything. They can't make any decision by themselves. They can't decide on what to eat for lunch without freaking, you know, asking 3 other people what sounds good to them. It's just real bizarre. So, I think I did. I don't know if I did or not. Yeah, I know you know who you are, Jessica. Yeah, you are. You know, and there have been a lot of us that have been effed over too much. You know, and I think as far as like anyone that is like watching, like Jessica, you deal with assholes as much as I do. I think in life, just like random, disheveled, you know. And I'm trying to figure out that like attracts like there. Like, what, you know, and then it's not always there. It's the whole projection thing. It's the whole projecting. You know, and when people project, and I'm talking to myself too, when I project my angers, frustrations, anxieties, anything on another person, that's not me being present and being where my hands are. So that's stuff I got to look at, so... Life is about learning about ourselves just so we can freaking comfortably semi-comfortably navigate through the freaking wackadoos that don't even know why they act the way that they act. Guess I'll have to teach them. I don't know. It's kind of my role. I'm here to teach. I'm here to show people, you know, how to live from how to learn from their mistakes and I don't keep making the same mistakes over. I keep making all new ones. It's about all I got for now. Hope you have a rad day.